Guys, it's that time of the year again. Spooky season is upon us. Festival of the Lost 2024 is here. Everyone's favorite space grandma, Levante, is back with a whole host of goodies on top of a brand new weapon and an entirely new archetype. That being this burst fire shotgun. Let me just say, guys, so far, at least my first impressions of it, it's very good. On top of that, the coveted exotic class items can also be earned via Festival of the Lost, and the oh so sexy Lost Memento shader, in my opinion, is one of the sexiest looking shaders in the game, even more so than Superblack. Now, in today's video, we're going to be bringing you a complete guide on how to do all of this, how to complete the quest line associated with it. This is similar to years past, as it's haunted lost sectors all over again, with expert lost sectors having a chance to drop additional eerie Ingrams. Manifested pages are also back, but Bungie thankfully simplified things where you don't have to do this weird page conversion. One warning I will say though, guys, is currently, at least at the time of me making this guide right here, eerie Ingrams and drops in general seem to be bugged, at least for everything outside of the shotgun. You see, all our other weapons are dropping with old rolls instead of their new updated rolls. So just a warning before we go any further, how I'm actually approaching this is I'm farming for the shotgun, and then as soon as I get the roll that I want in the shotgun, all the eerie Ingrams, I'm actually going to just be keeping. They can go to your postmaster, you can hold them in your inventory, and I'm going to be jumping to my other characters until a fix goes out for this. And as soon as this fix goes out, then I'll be turning these things in for those new rolls on each of those weapons. In the meantime though, we're going to be going over how Festival of the Lost works this year, candy farming, exotic class items, and all of the above. So let's dive in. Now, when you first log into Destiny, you're going to be greeted with the Festival of the Lost 2024 screen, showing off all the new cosmetics, including the new class ornaments that you can actually buy for either silver or 6,000 bright dust. No lie, the Hunter drip and the Warlock drip look amazing. Look at the hats. And I love that the Hunter drip is actually tied to the cloak versus the helmet. Unfortunately for my Titans though, we're stuck with the good guy look because for some unknown reason we voted for that. I don't know how that happened. With that being said though, this can be acquired via silver or bright dust, and keep in mind, many of the bounties, especially the repeatable bounties, are very easy to complete here with Levante, which will net you bright dust, which you can then use to purchase these armor pieces. Now back to the quest itself. You'll need to go to the tower and then speak with the Levante, who will give you the quest Classic Carving. This will then reward you with a mask that you will need to equip. That will then progress the quest forward and reward a manifested page. Now these work just like I did in the past, where you need to collect pages by completing either haunted lost sectors or various other activities while you are wearing a Festival of the Lost mask. And yes, guys, you have to wear the mask. Now there's no weird page conversion this year, no spectral pages, just simply collecting those manifested pages is all you need to do on the page front, which is a huge W. Now for the next part of the quest, you'll be tasked with completing a haunted sector as well as collecting an additional manifested page. Now you can find the haunted sector node right here in the tower, but you can also go right there to the tower destination itself and choose the haunted sector within the destination. Now before you go any further, I want you to go over here and collect candy from the tree that you see here in the tower. Now candy is going to be a very important currency. It'll be used to focus for things like loot. You'll also use it to focus for exotic class items, and there are actually two trees at the tower, one right here next to Eva and the other one next to Ikora, both of which possess somewhere around like 400 and something candy. Now if you're having trouble jumping up to any of these trees, if you've had a guardian rank up, you can actually go over here, interact with it, do the rank up animation, and then proceed to go over here to each one of the trees and jump up to those locations. Again, you have the little blue icons representing the candy, and at the very, very top, you have a purple icon, almost like a purple mote that you could pick up, which is somewhere around 250 candy. Now back to those haunted lost sectors. You'll interact with the node, guys, and you'll load in. And this essentially functions identically to how it did in years past. You'll get 5 minutes to kill these 10 headless ones, which you'll need to spawn in. Now, when you kill those 10 headless ones, this will then spawn in the boss. And upon killing the boss, you'll get your chest, which will contain a number of different things. But the main thing you're going to care about the most here is getting a weapon drop, which pretty much is guaranteed every run. Now, technically, you don't need to kill 10 headless ones for loot, but killing all 10 leading up to the boss increases your drop chance for that new shotgun Arcane Embrace. It also rewards additional pages. Now, the strategy for completing these haunted sectors is all the same. You'll have these control-like points that you have to go and capture. It will then spawn in these headless ones, and it'll start with like one zone at a time, and then eventually you'll work up to 2 zones, which is where you and your teammates can spread out and start capping multiple zones at a time, speeding this process up even more. You'll reach those 10 headless ones, you'll spawn in the boss, you'll kill the boss, which will also incorporate that same mechanic, as the boss will enter an immunity phase. You'll have to sit on those control points yet again, except this time when the headless one spawns in, when you kill them, they'll drop these little pumpkins on the ground that you throw throw at the boss to break the shield. After dropping the immunity shield, you can now finish up the boss, and there you go, guys. You've just completed your first haunted lost sector. The expert version works identical to this. It's just more difficult, but definitely worth it as it nets you more rewards. Now, upon finishing your first haunted sector, you can now return to Eva, who will task you to add those manifested pages to the Tales of Forgotten. Now, upon doing that, this will introduce you to the event card and event challenge for this year. Now, understand, guys, the event card is completely optional. You don't have to buy this. It does net you these different cosmetics. You can definitely check out these items in game to see whether or not this is worth the amount of silver, as this can only be purchased via silver. As far as event challenges go, that is completely free. You can complete all of these challenges. It just requires whatever objective that's associated with each one of these challenges, but it does not require money to access this, just the event card, and that's just cosmetics all on its own. Now, this portion of the quest, you will be rewarded with the new shotgun Arcane Embrace. Now, this is the first of its kind. It's a heavy burst shotgun. We're going to be doing a full review on this one, guys, but you heard that right. It's a 2-round burst shotgun that is a slug shotgun. It does arc damage, but the thing I want to warn you about right here is the curated role that Eva gives you. Do not delete it. This one has dual loader and trench barrel, which should not be possible because trench barrel is not even a listed perk in the API for this shotgun. So if you like trench barrel, which I personally think trench barrel is good, then keep this role. Don't get rid of it because you're not going to get another role like it. Yeah, I know, guys. Things are buggy, man. Now, it's a good chance Bungie may roll out and say, hey, we're going to take trench barrel off and give you swashbuckler instead, or maybe swap it out for some other perk. But for the time being, trench barrel is only available on this one version of the shotgun. So I'm keeping it. But guys, that's essentially the whole quest line for this year's Fest for the Lost. It's very simple, very straightforward. But now we need to go over the best ways to actually get candy, manifested pages, and eerie engrams. These are going to be your 3 main things that you're going to be focusing on, especially the candy and eerie engram part when you start going for different roles, and more emphasis on the candy part when we start talking about exotic class items. Now, let's first talk about the best ways to get manifested pages. Was actually doing those expert haunted lost sectors. Now, unfortunately, Bungie did remove matchmaking from this activity and in turn added Fireteam Finder, probably to get people to actually use Fireteam Finder more. Personally, I think they should have just left matchmaking because at the time, at least of making this video, Fireteam Finder is not working. Yet another bug. If you go look at Fireteam Finder right now under the node, it unfortunately will not be showing the correct activity. Hopefully this gets resolved fast, as expert mode is definitely the way to go. In the meantime, kick it old school, guys. Come by our Discord. Feel free to reach out to a few folks that are on the grind. It's really not that hard of a grind. You can easily get this done with a solid team in 4, maybe 5 minutes. And the expert version of Haunted Lost Sectors gives you a lot more pages, somewhere around 9 to 10 pages versus the 5 you would get for doing the normal version. Now, something to take note about the Lost Sectors is that they do rotate. So it does keep things kind of fresh, and they rotate every 2 hours. So if you get bored of one, or maybe you don't like certain versions of these Haunted Lost Sectors, maybe you're like, dude, I don't care for the moon version, but I love the Europa version. You could just wait for that to come in rotation and then get to grinding. Now, manifested pages doesn't just drop from these Haunted Lost Sectors. You can also do things like Grandmaster Nightfalls, which will also net you 5 pages. PvP, which will net you 2 pages. Regular Strikes will net you 4 pages. Gambit, for my Gambit players, 2 pages. Now, something to note, we did take a look at the first contact mission of the Lightfall campaign. This was actually how we would cheese pages, or at least spectral pages, in last year's event. Now, I know spectral pages are gone, but the question we wanted to answer, does manifested pages drop from this mission? That's not the case, as completing the mission only awards a single manifested pages. Definitely not worth the time. Now, let me just say, there's no big rush on grinding any of this, guys. And matter of fact, just spending an afternoon in Grandmaster Nightfalls and also some of these Haunted Lost Sectors, I easily got pretty much every page done except for one. Now, we did do private matches just to test things out. You do not get any pages though for completing them, but you do get candy for killing your friends. Actually, 4 candy per kill. This is also a way to complete the event challenges. As you can see here, we were at 24% for shotgun kills, but after getting a kill, this goes up to 27%. I'm not saying you should do private matches, but if you want, it's an option. Most of these challenges though are going to be very easy to complete simply by just playing the game. Now, as for candy, you'll have the 840 candy that you can initially get from those trees in the tower that we just went over. You can also get 500 from the Horrific Haunts event challenge. Now, you technically get 1300 from the Mystery Meat challenge, but that requires you to purchase mystery grab bags from Eva, which are 650 candy each, and you need 6 of those to complete that, so skip that if you're just looking for candy. Then we have all the bounties that Eva has, which gives us varying amounts of candy on top of XP and Bright Dust. 2 weekly bounties gives us 250 candy each, the daily bounties give us 30 candy each, and the repeatable bounties give us 20 each. Now, these bounties are extremely easy to do. Most you're going to get it done without even thinking about. What's even better is since these are bounties, you can repeat these on each of your character, which nets you around 1,800 candy in total, just for doing the daily and weekly bounties. Now, outside of that, candy drops from everything, so long as you have your mask on, and you do have to have your mask on. There's no other way around this. Crucible, Grandmaster Nightfalls, Onslaught, that mask must be on. Now, the best activities for this are really ad-dense activities. In year past, there always seems to be like a broken farm for candy. A lot of people like Altars of Sorrow. I personally just like to overlap my grind, as in this week we have double Nightfall drops, so I'm of course going to be doing Nightfalls, and we also have the new Stasis Glaive that's dropping. Now, is this the most optimal way of getting candy? Of course not. It's somewhere around like 730 to 750 candy per GM, and a GM takes me somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes, with it being the Lightblade Strike. But in terms of the best places to farm for candy, Altar is definitely your best bet. Talking somewhere around 240 candy just for taking out the boss, amongst just farming up for a number of VATs. There are also things like the In the Deep mission, which you can AFK farm, but keep in mind, guys, actively playing the game is going to net you the most candy, with Altars being arguably the best bet in the game. And before you ask, no, the Contact mission, which we used to use back in the day to farm for a lot of different things, as you could cheese the checkpoint over and over, that has been severely nerfed, only netting you around 30 candy. So definitely not worth, especially in comparison to Altars there on the moon. Now, the reason why we're going to be farming for candy is, of course, all of this loot, which takes us to what Eva has to offer. We already touched on the new shotgun, Arcane's Embrace, but we also have the previous Festival of the Lost weapons, which can be focused for 1 Eerie Ingram and 1,000 candy. Keep in mind, though, even when focusing for these drops, it's going to give you the old rolls of these weapons. Now, maybe you want an old roll, so if you want an old roll, by all means, I guess you can do it. I actually think the new rolls are better, but Bungie tweeted out that more information will be provided when available on a fix for this. Now, in the meantime, you can still farm for Eerie Ingrams and candy. Eerie Ingrams dropping from Haunted Lost sectors, with more of them dropping from the expert version of these Haunted Lost sectors. And the reason why I'm saying that you still want to farm for these things is because exotic class items, for the first time ever, are being sold to people that have not done the Dual Destiny mission. This is huge, guys. I had so many people come by the stream today and say that this is their first time getting an exotic class item in Destiny. So for all my solo players out there, my folks that have not tackled that exotic mission, this is your opportunity to get an exotic class item. And let me just say, they are very potent. Now, I will say in the long run, I do advise doing Dual Destiny, as doing Dual Destiny will allow you to unlock attunement with the ghost at the Pale Heart. And what that essentially allows you to do is lock a perk. If there's a specific exotic armor combination that you want, you can eliminate an entire column out of the equation of RNG with attunement. Again, something you can get to eventually. I know most of you that don't have an exotic class item, you just want to unlock this right now. And for 2,500 candy and 1 Eerie Ingram, you have the ability to focus on one of these exotic class items for all of your classes, which is amazing, guys. I'm happy that some of you are finally able to play with these amazing exotics. Now, this is also going to be great for the rest of us that are still grinding for various roles of these exotic class items. 2,500 candy is a pretty good chunk, but as we're sitting there passively just playing the game, killing things, whether in PvP or PvE, we'll reach that 2,500 candy, and then we could turn around and pick up a few class items here and there, alongside going to Zur on the weekends, or even grinding overthrow activities or Dual Destiny if we so wish. Now, the last thing we need to go over is how to get that Lost Memento, as well as the Superblack shader. Now, for the Superblack shader, it's very simple. Just complete all 15 event challenges. This will reward 1 Ascendant Shard, 1 Ascendant Alloy, and the Superblack shader. So if you missed it back in Into the Light, you can now earn it this way. Now, the Lost Memento is a bit more complicated, but the drop chances for it seem to be very high, at least higher than I expected. Essentially, when you focus in Eerie Ingram at Eva, you have a low chance of getting one of these mementos. Personally, though, I got a lot of them, like literally 4 today. Now, you can only hold 3, which means you're gonna have to use it on a weapon, but find yourself a craft of weapon, throw that memento on, and considering how sexy this memento is, I'm gonna be trying to put it on everything. The good news is, guys, the drop chances for this does not seem to be low. And hopefully once Bungie fixes the drops here to where we're actually getting the new rolls for these weapons instead of the old rolls, these mementos will be flowing very soon. Now, there's also a guaranteed way to get this memento, as well as the Spectral Carapace Emblem. This is by completing the Twilight Triumph. Now, this actually shows us just a bunch of question marks at first with no clear objectives, but here are the steps in order. Step 1, you're gonna wanna equip the Tower Staffer mask, then talk to Eva. Now, she's gonna say something about missing goodie bags. You'll then need to go to Drifter, and he'll have some similar dialogue. Then you'll need to talk to Saint 14. And again, the same similar dialogue, but he'll give you this confiscated grab bag, which will then end step 1. Now, for step 2, this is gonna require you to get 100 explosive kills anywhere with the Cursed Thrall mask equipped. Now this is very easy. You can actually just load them into things like Grasp of Avarice or even Haunted Lost Sectors if you so wish, but you can use weapons like Lost Signal or even Anarchy, and you'll get this done very fast. Now lastly, for step 3, this will require you to get 50 sword kills with the finalized Ghost Mask equipped while in Expert Haunted Sectors. Now we actually don't have footage of this, as it is quite the grind to get the Ghost Mask, so huge shout out to Fallout for this information. So that's it, guys. After completing that, you'll have the Spectral Carapace emblem as well as the Lost Memento. I'll keep you guys updated as soon as we get word from Bungie that our Festival of the Lost weapons have had their roles updated. In the meantime, we'll be streaming every day this week, guys, grinding out loot with all of you, so feel free to come by. Bungie also launched the Ghost in the Dark emblem, which is dropping from anyone who subscribes to a Destiny 2 streamer or gifts a sub. You simply just gotta link your Bungie account to your Twitch account, go to a D2 stream, and either sub or gift a sub to get that emblem in your collections. Spooky! Let me know in the comments below if we missed anything. And fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.